Hello friends, welcome to simmercbt.com. This is another video on how to create VTP server and VTP client in switches. As you can see, we have a blank canvas. So let's start from scratch. The topology that we are going to work on is we will have two routers. Okay, let's name them as router 1 and router 2. R1, that should be R2. We will have two switches. Okay, we are taking two switches of 2950 T24 port switches. Okay, let's name them as well, switch 1 and switch 2. So switch 1 and switch 2. Okay, let's connect them. When you want to connect between router and switch, it should be a straight cable. Okay, so from fast Ethernet 0 to fast Ethernet 0 1 of the switch. Same way from R2 fast Ethernet 0 to fast Ethernet 0 1. When you want to connect between two switches, it should be a crossover cable, fast Ethernet 0 2 to fast Ethernet 2. Okay, now the idea is to put both the switches, rather one of them in the server mode, which is the default mode, the other one into the client mode. They should be part of a domain. Okay, they should be part of the same VLAN so that these two routers can communicate. That is the router R1 and R2. I'll just let you know once again. Okay, see, the idea is to put one switch into the server mode, which is the default, the other one into the client, which we will have to change. Put both the routers R2 and R1 into the same VLAN so that they can communicate. So let's start from router R1. Assign the IP address on the fast Ethernet 0. Let's go to the global configuration mode, interface fast Ethernet 0/0. Okay, we will give the IP address 192.168.1.1 and the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Okay, oops, we have done a mistake there. It should be 192. Okay, we will say no shut. We are done on the router 1. Let's name this router as well as router 1. Okay, host name R1. Good. Let's go on to the R2 as well. Okay, we will name this router first as R2, and then we will change the IP address of the fast Ethernet 0/0. So in interface fast Ethernet 0/0, we will give the IP address 192.168.1.2. Okay, 255.255.255.0. No shut. Okay, don't worry about what IPs we are using. It's just for the purpose of showing the demo and for the communication. Okay, now if I try to ping from this router, ping 192.168.1.1. okay, let's see what happens. Okay, we are not getting the reply. Okay, why? Because this is still converting. Okay, now this is up. Let's try to do it once more. Okay, so the first was for the ARP and then we got the reply. Let's try from this router. Okay, ping 192.168.1.2. okay, you get the reply. We tried 1.1 from this router and we get the reply. So as of now, when nothing is configured on these two switches, they are simply plain switches. We haven't configured any VLAN. They are not part of any VTP domain. They are operating in the default server mode. These two routers are able to communicate. Now let's check and add them into the domain mode and the server and the client mode. Global configuration mode once again. Okay, before that let me just show you the default mode. Okay, show VTP status. You can see the VTP operating mode is server, it is not part of any domain. Okay, same way on this switch, if you go to the admin prompt and do show VLAN, sorry, VTP status. Okay, again VTP's operating mode default is server and it is not part of any domain. Okay, so let's quickly add this to. Now we will keep this switch into the server modes, which is the default one, so we do not have to go and change the VTP mode. However, we'll add this into a domain. We will create a domain and add the switch into that domain. Okay, so we go to the global configuration mode. Okay, VTP domain Cisco. Okay, so changing VTP domain from null to Cisco. We are done on switch 1. Let's move on to the switch 2. Okay, global configuration mode, VTP domain Cisco. Okay, once again VTP domain name from null to Cisco. If you wish to check, we can do show VTP status. Okay, and you can see it is in Cisco. However, we are yet to change it to the client mode. Okay, let's go back to the global configuration mode and put this into the client. Okay, so setting device to VTP client, that is switch 2. Let's check once again status, it is now into client. What we have done so far is that this switch is operating in the server mode, this switch is operating into the client mode. Both the switches are part of the domain Cisco. Now we will configure the trunking port between these two, that is the fast Ethernet 02 on this switch, that is switch 2, and fast Ethernet 02 on switch 1. Let's go on to the switch 1. Okay, global configuration interface fast Ethernet 0/2 and switch port mode trunk. Done on switch 1. Let's do it on this switch 2. Global configuration mode interface fast Ethernet 0/2 switch port mode trunk. As you can see, both of them are just getting up. We will have to wait for few seconds and they should be up. Now if we try to ping from here to here, it was working earlier. As you can see, we did on ping 192.168.1.1 and we were getting the reply, but if we try now, we are still getting the reply. Okay, because they are not, we haven't created any VLAN yet on this switches. Okay, so we do not need to configure any special trunking protocol because 2950T, they have default 802.1q trunking protocol working on them if you do not configure anything specifically. Okay, now let's create VLAN here. Okay, once again global configuration mode VLAN 10 name sales. Done on switch 1. Let's move on to the switch 2. Show VLAN. Interesting, although we did not created any VLAN here, it is appearing now. So that's what we say when we configure the server and the client mode. It will propagate. This is the only switch which is acting as in client mode. If you add more switches, all of them, this server switch will make sure that all of them have the VLAN configuration. So you only need to change it on the server and it will get propagated on all the switches. Okay, let's try to ping it again. Let's see what happens. We still get the reply. Why? Because this is still not part of the VLAN. Okay, what we can do here is that we can add this to the VLAN and see what happens. Okay, something that you can try it out with. That's it then. If you have any other questions, suggestions, please put it in the blog section on www.simmersivity.com. Thanks for watching.